is it time to do a Creepy Cheapies again already? A mask? It is? Okay, well, we'll go ahead then. In that case, let me go ahead and light the candle and we'll get things underway right here. Yeah, there we go. And now, Mr. Jacob's lighter here. Ah, no. Try it again. There we are. Yes. Perfect. Now, I'll start again. Hello, welcome to Creepy Cheapies, where we talk about the best in latex Halloween masks. Occasionally some other material, but most of the time latex. Like today's monstrosity. This one is another one from the clever people at October Studios. Now spell it correctly. Well, no, not correctly like in the dictionary. Correctly like they spell it, which is with a K instead of a C. It's important that you know that. Today's monstrosity just happens to be the Creepy Kid. I know what you're thinking, but no, we're not brothers. No relation. I was a creepy kid at one time, I guess, but it's been a long time ago. That was way before creepy old man days. Anyway, look at the Creepy Kid here. This is a late 2025 release from the creeps at with a K, Tober Studios, the Creepy Kid. Now, you might be thinking, what's so great? Well, a couple of reasons I wanted to bring this particular mask to your attention. A couple of things that are special about it. One is, a lot of times if you're doing a live action haunted house, or at least when I've had live action haunted houses, by which I mean employing actors in masks who scare people as opposed to life-size still figures. When I had people playing monsters, I couldn't always get the biggest, largest, scariest people, you know. Not everybody is big enough to play Frankenstein or Dracula or Darth Vader or Jason or somebody like that. Sometimes you have children who want to be in the haunted house, or you want them to have the opportunity to be in the haunted house. And, you know, if you have sons, daughters, nephews, nieces, whatsoever, it's not going to really work to have them dress up as Frankenstein and the Mummy and these, you know, big monster characters. No, but the Creepy Kid would be an excellent character for the Creepy Kid in your life or in your family to portray. He has eye cuts up above these eyeballs here. Okay, and as I said, this is just one of a couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention about him. One is that he'd be a good kid mask, and you could have the kid, that is the son or daughter or niece or nephew, wearing this with whatever you think looks appropriate for a Creepy Kid. I kind of like the fact that it has that sort of creepypasta analog horror look that I like anyway, but I would have him be some distance from the people and kind of slowly moving toward them, like he's looking at them from underneath the desk or something creepy. But the costume, whatever you think works in your scene and fits the Creepy Kid in your life. This one could be a fun one for kids to actually wear. Of course, when I was a kid, I could have worn this one, but I don't know if all the kids in your family or in your life have the patience, what's the word I'm looking for? Stamina? That's not it. Are able to have the non-claustrophobia, that's a new medical term, that would allow them to, you know, be okay with wearing a mask that's a big, kind of heavy, kind of, you know, some people get the claustrophobia. Other people aren't afraid at all of Santa. But good choice for a kid monster, a creepy little small monster. And in the context of your scene, it could either be a kid that is a monster, actual kid monster, or it could be a little gremlin-y thing that's not necessarily a kid. Now, the other thing I think is cool about this, besides the fact that you could use it on small actors, the other thing I like about this guy is that, now don't take this the wrong way, you know, this is just an observation. This is not a put down or bullying or anything like that. Don't be too sensitive. I think it struck me, well, it didn't strike me, or I would have pressed charges. It struck me that this would make an excellent female character. That was not an insult. No, don't be. No, it's just an observation. This would make a great female character, and there aren't that many good female masks, which is a sad thing. I think we don't have equal rights for women in the world of horror, I think. But this one could be made into a female character. And let me just go over how I would do that. You don't necessarily have to have a big mask airbrushing shop at your disposal, or a disposal in your shop, either one. But here's what I would do. To turn this into a feminine character, I would first, and I say this having drawn many, many cartoons over the years, the first thing that makes a character look like it's going from a male to a female look, I would add lipstick to this guy. And as you can see, he's already got pinkish red paint around there, but to make it really make the point that it's feminine, you would want either, you know, purple, pink, some color in there, magenta, oxblood, you know, maroon, those kind of colors. And you don't have to have an airbrush because, you know, when women in the human world wear lipstick, they aren't necessarily airbrushing it on, are they? They're carrying those little lipstick. I wouldn't use the real lipstick. I don't know what would happen if you did that, because I haven't ever put real lipstick on a latex mask, especially today's latex. So I say go with paint, but whatever you like. If this guy had lips that were red or pink or purple, and you got to be a little careful that you don't go into clown territory, I think. Although this mask might make a great clown too, but since there are a million, billion, way too many crazy evil clown masks on the market anyway, who cares? Let's just go with the female idea, because there are so much, there's so much of a lack of those, such a dearth of female characters. No, not like Darth Vader, no. But anyway, once I had the lipstick on there, now the other thing that makes characters in drawings and artwork and costumes, etc., go from male to female look is the addition of eyelashes. However, before I did that, after I had the lipstick on, before I put the eyelashes on, I would add some eyeshadow, which is to say that color like human females put above their eyes. And it could be any color you like, really, blue, green, purple, pink, brown, you know, or some combination thereof, just so it's sort of darker and accented above the eyes, because we want it to look pretty and glamorous, right? You get that? Then I would add eyelashes, and the reason I put it in that order is because once you've got eyelashes on there, how are you going to get back behind them to paint the eyeshadow on? So I would do the eyeshadow first, and then eyelashes, well, obviously the creepy kid's eyes are larger than the average human's, which means if you just go to the local pharmacy or drugstore or whatever you have, Vincent's Drug, to buy some false eyelashes, they might not fit on there. Or you might need get 3 pairs of eyelashes and put 1, 2, 3 and line them up. Or they also make craft eyelashes that are for on dolls and puppets and toys. So you could use those if you could find some big enough, but I'm sure you could think of something. Anyway, after I had lipstick and eyeshadow and eyelashes, then I would go for eyebrows. It could just be painted on pretty easily. Make sure they are a feminine looking eyebrow. And if you don't know what that looks like, look for some photographs of human beings while you're on Earth and observe the way the eyebrows are, you know, preferred on the female of the human species, and go for that sort of shape with eyebrows. Okay, the next thing I would do is add a little pink or red or purple. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I hope I have a picture here, but you might not be able to tell that I did it. Add some pink or purple or some such thing, which is now called blush, which when the old days used to be called rouge. Rouge, yeah. And the reason they call it blush now is because nobody could spell rouge. Everybody spelled it rogue. And if you know what I mean, if you saw that Star Wars movie that everybody remembers as Rouge One, remember, world's most depressing Star Wars movie? Yeah. Anyway, once I had all those things on there, including the blush or rouge, I would add a wig. Whatever kind of wig you like, maybe long and straight, so it obviously looks female. You know, you got to have a girly looking wig. I wouldn't use anything that's really, really glamorous, pretty, sexy looking. I would use something that could be kind of eerie and dead looking, but still feminine. And once you've got all that on there, all you need to do is find a costume. Imagine a girl like this in like a bridal gown or an old Victorian era dress or something. Creepy and ghostly and perfect right there. So this is kind of a dual use mask. Yeah, but don't wear it while fighting a duel. And as far as the wig, you could glue the wig on or just sit it on there. If it's a mannequin figure and not a person, you wouldn't even have to attach it. But for the most part, I don't think you'd even have to bother removing, taking off the what's the word for that? For hair removal? What's the term? Hang on, let me ask my AI device. Dalexa, what's the word for removing hair?
Exfoliate!
Of course, thank you. I don't think you'd necessarily even have to do that. You could just put it right on there over, because as you can see, this guy has punched in hair inserted all over his little ugly cranium, and it looks pretty cool as it is. So I wouldn't pull it out of there unless you're sure you never want to use it this way again. If you're going to fasten the wig permanently with glue or some such substance, you know, then you can buy another one and use it as the male version. You could have a wedding. Nah, that'd be dumb. Use a different mask if you're doing a wedding. Don't make them look that much alike. But anyway, the Creepy Kid. I think he sells for around $50 from the Creeps at October Studios 2025/26 release. And I like the Creepy Kid, don't you? You know what else I like? That huge flame. I gotta use those electronic candle lighters more often,